thing that they did and they've done all year is they were opportunistic on some stuff. You know, they returned the punt. They took advantage of some mistakes we made. And, you know, our defense did a great job. I mean, they really didn't. They never drove the field and scored on our defense ever. So we just made too many mistakes. And, you know, it was tough getting our pace going. We weren't being able to move real fast. You know, we just couldn't ever get the rhythm.
That's kind of my next question. Obviously, not being able to get in our rhythm, that was probably the reason that you couldn't get to the end zone. What did you try to do at halftime, obviously, to make some adjustments?
Yeah. Well, we obviously had to take some chances. You know, we came out here, didn't know on the defense. You know, I thought we had a chance. You know, scored on there, and we just couldn't get it done in there. We had a ton of penalties on us tonight. You know, we just had a lot of them. You know, and it really hurt us. You know, again, it was another reason. We got in some second shorts, and then we get a penalty. You know, in the second 12, and again, I mean, it's just the way things were out here now. It's just tough to do that. So we just didn't recover very well.
Coach, going forward, you got a good game coming back. What do you do in the off season to prepare for that next season?
Well, I mean, you just it's the same as every off season. You got to see what you get out. And, we always try to adjust to whatever our personnel is. We got some good guys coming back. But I want to say something about our seniors. I mean, I can't be more proud of them. You know, that is a really special group to me. Because, I've said it several times the last few weeks, they bought in everything we were trying to do from the beginning. And I think they've laid a great foundation for the future. I hate that it had to end this way. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why we had to go through so many stinking injuries. You know, because I think we had a legitimate chance this year to do something. You know, especially after going. We thought before the season, but after going through and playing everybody, I mean, we had a legit shot. You know, but you know, it's one of those things you just have to learn from it and grow. And I know we got a lot of. Think about our seniors. We got a lot of guys that they're good football players. They're going to do big things in their life.
Welcome back. The Hewitt Huskies traveled up to Madison to take on James Clemens in round one of the playoffs. A rough night for the Husky offense as they run into a very good James Clemens defense and just can't get anything going, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, and we know the injury to Zach Thomas and all that really kind of put the brakes on their offense the rest of the season, and they come in as kind of one-dimensional. James Clemens knows they've got to run the football, and with only that to stop, they really didn't have any success.
And, you know, we talked about this after the Thomas injury. The Husky offense, you know, was such a two-headed monster all year with Zach Thomas and Jerry and Street. Well, you take one of those away, and all of a sudden Jerry gets all the attention. It worked pretty well against Clay Chalkville in Week 10, but this week they just could get nothing going.
Yeah, and you always kind of see that with rivalry games. You know, a team comes in really spirited, trying to add a little extra lift after one of their best player goes down. But, yeah, James Clemens is a really good football team, and, you know, Hewitt, to be on the same field with him, was going to have, you know, all cylinders clicking, and that just wasn't the case.
The Husky defense had probably one of their best games of the season against James Clemens. They only give up 163 yards rushing in the game, minimal yards passing. All of the points in this game, really, James Clemens scored off of turnovers. You had a safety in the end zone, you had a fumble recovery by James Clemens in the end zone, and then a long special teams, a punt return, and a long kickoff return to set up the other scores.
Yeah, and you see a lot of that happen when Hewitt was losing the field position battle. You know, you mentioned all those things. A lot of them are happening when they're very deep in their own territory. The pressure gets put on you at that point, and it's a lot easier to make mistakes down there, and those mistakes are much more costly at that point. And
terrible field conditions didn't help. You heard it was a swamp. If you heard anything from the Trussell Tribune feed on this on Twitter, the field conditions were just terrible. Footing was bad all night. Jerry and Street couldn't make those great cuts that he's used to putting that foot in the ground and going. He just couldn't do it this week, and a lot of things just went wrong for the Huskies in this ball game, and really at the end of the year they just had all sorts of bad luck.
Yeah, and when you see those kind of field conditions, it always evens the playing field to a degree. But as we talked about, Hewitt just couldn't overcome all those mistakes, and James Clemens didn't really make their mistakes. So it's just kind of a losing battle at that point, and you can't really come back, like we said, with the swampland they were playing in.
Well, the season ends for the Huskies. They finished 6-5. A very disappointing finish for them. They, back middle of the year, we were looking at them as maybe one of the premier teams in the state. a lot of injuries, not just Zach Thomas. You have some injuries along the offensive line, and a lot of things just don't go their way. A lot of bad luck this year. What do the Huskies do as they go into the offseason and get ready for next year?
Well, the case with high school is you're never going to have anybody more than 3 or 4 years. So the mark of a good program is being able to develop those young kids coming up, because you're not going to have, you don't have to recruit. So your job as a head coach of a program is just to develop what you've got and to put the best product on the field that you can. And that's what they brought Josh Floyd in to do. So going into year 3, we're really going to see what kind of mark he's going to make in the long term.
And they've got a lot of good names coming back. Noah Igbenogany is coming back. He had a great year at receiver. Grayson Cash had a great year playing both ways. And it was nice to see Davis Bergen get in. We see what the future is going to be like with him. So I still think the future's bright for the Huskies. They lose some great players. They lose Jarian Street, headed to Ole Miss. Bailey McElwain committed to Stanford, and Zach Thomas, of course, a blue chip quarterback. They lose a lot of weapons, but I still think they have a lot of weapons coming back.
But I think that is an encouraging sign to have a handful of guys that are going to big time places, because that shows that there's a pool of talent here. And nobody was really sure, what are we going to see? Who's the quarterback after Zach? Davis comes in, does a really good job. And I think showing what he showed the last 2 weeks, especially against Clay Chalkville, kind of gives you some hope going forward that position might be okay.
All right, when we come back, the Clay Chalkville Cougars opened up round 1 against Coleman, and it was much of the same. The Cougars winning very easily, 48-14. We'll talk about that when we return.